First off, rule number one in racing is always blame something other than yourself. So it's your brain's fault that you're slow. I simply wanted to make this video for those crazy few that can't help but want to get better. We unknowingly process about 11 million bits per second. We actively control about 100 bits per second. That's a very slow data transfer rate. So how is it possible that top riders can see this and process all of that information for hours on end? One word, repeated 3 times. Repetition, repetition, repetition. When you first learn to ride a motorcycle, you're going back to being a baby, learning to grab something or move your left, then right leg to walk. Instead, though, we're learning to pull the clutch in, click it in the gear, give it some throttle, and slowly let out. How do we transfer those things from the very slow 100 bits per second to the very fast 11 million bits per second? Repetition, repetition, repetition. When it comes to riding dirt bikes, we often hear people say seat time is key. Well, let me tell you what a wise old Olympics coach once told me. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. If you were going out and getting that all-important seat time, but that seat time is being done with improper form, you're committing to that bad form. It also goes without saying, but Rich Larsson said it, you can learn more from one boulder than you can from 100 miles of trail. So what should we be perfectly repeating in order to improve the quickest? The basics. Yeah, that's the secret. But let's figure out what the basics even means for you. For the sake of our mental health here, let's assume that you already know how to ride a motorcycle. The question I'm going to ask you is, what type of riding are you going to do? Motocross, enduro, trials, cross country, rally, the list goes on, but the basics remain the same, kind of. Let's compare, let's say, hard enduro and motocross. Motocross guys will outright tell you that the clutch is only for starts, while a hard enduro rider will basically be slipping the clutch nearly the entire race, which can be 4 or 5 hours. So the basics for these two sports are the same, but they're also different. It's just that the importance of which basics you practice the most are kind of swapped. For me, I like to ride the hard enduro stuff, so that's what we're going to focus on to make things simpler. When things get really rough, balance and front wheel control are obnoxiously important. So perfectly practicing those basic skills before you race is really important. You don't want to be wasting your precious 100 bits per second on things like balance and keeping your front wheel up over the rocks. What I'm telling you is that doing balance drills, doing log hop drills will commit those basics to muscle memory, to that 11 million bits per second. Because you chose to spend your seat time on drills, not doing trail rides with your buddies, you are walking, not flopping around like a baby when you get into the gnarly stuff. Because you've done the drills, your body knows what to do. You're not thinking about the basics, you're focusing on your line choice, looking far ahead, giving your tiny 100 bits per second brain time to process what's coming. Okay, well, what are these basic drills? Good question. Let's break this down into 3 steps, okay? Step 1, look up Rich Larsson. Rich Larsson, also known as the IRC tire guy. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and try and say that I can teach you better than Rich Larsson. In my opinion, he is the best teacher for hard enduro, available totally for free on the internet. Step 2, and this is very important. After watching the incredible tutorial from the IRC tire guy, film yourself. Film yourself. Seriously, do the drills that Rich taught you, then watch yourself doing them. Filming yourself is the same as the ballerina practicing in front of the mirror. You think you're doing the drill perfectly, and that mirror is going to either confirm or deny that. Remember, perfect practice makes perfect. So without that mirror, you might be training yourself to do it wrong. And here's the secret. You're probably doing it wrong. Basic things like body position, most people do wrong. We think that we're standing up and that we're doing it correctly, but we have our knees bent forward, so our hips are rotated forward, and it makes it so that we get bad arm pump. And we always say, oh, I'm just not fit enough, or oh, I didn't take the right nutritional supplement, when the reality of it is you didn't film yourself and see that your hips are actually rotated forward, and so your whole balance is off. It's really crazy what a mirror will do for helping you improve rapidly. What is step 3? Step 3 is watching that film, adjusting yourself, and to try and look and be more like Rich Larsson during those drills. Honestly, if you do these 3 simple steps for a few hours a week, By the end of the season, your riding buddies are going to seem really slow. Or you can ride the trails with your buddies and not care if you win or lose races. Maybe you don't even want to enter races. I'm here to say that is okay. While I personally obsess over the little things and love to ride the most difficult and extreme places I can find, I understand that that isn't for everyone.
You can't park there!
To most people, riding with a group is way more important than quickly improving the skills that you almost never need in life. Riding a dirt bike at the top levels is hard. You have to deal with injury, long road trips to remote places with no bathrooms or cell service, just spending insane money on tires, gas, random maintenance. So I completely understand if you don't want to ride 200 hours a year. I simply wanted to make this video for those crazy few that can't help but want to get better. I'm Jacob Ray. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and let's go enduro.